Welcome to Naturally Inspired Radio, where we expose what's broken in the healthcare system, connect you to real health solutions, and inspire you to take back control of your life. We want to help you feel empowered, informed, and free to live naturally without fear, confusion, or dependency. Download our latest book on real solutions for health at naturallyinspiredradio.com. Naturally Inspired Radio is a nationally syndicated show broadcast on over 100 radio stations, online platforms, video channels, and podcast feeds. Follow us on your favorite platform today, hit that like button, leave a comment, and engage in our special live stream chats, Monday through Friday, 3 p.m. to 5 p.m. Mountain Standard Time. Visit naturallyinspiredradio.com to learn more, register for our weekly giveaway, and explore past episodes. You can also connect directly with Tammy, follow her on all major social media platforms, and discover more about our featured guests and trusted radio partners. Are you looking for better health? Work with Tammy today and take the first step toward a healthier, more empowered lifestyle. Schedule your complimentary 30-minute lifestyle assessment to explore personalized guidance on nutrition, movement, toxin-free living, and natural beauty without pharma. Get started now and discover Tammy's preferred health products at naturallyinspiredstore.com or text Tammy directly 720-303-8868. Love the show and want to support the movement? Head over to naturallyinspiredradio.com and click on the support tab. There you'll find all the ways you can get involved. Join our Naturally Inspired community, become a preferred customer, attend one of our amazing live events, get your backstage pass for exclusive access, and connect to all things naturally inspired. Thank you for tuning in today. Now sit back, relax, and enjoy the show.
The information and other content provided on this radio show or in any linked materials is provided for informational purposes only, not intended and should not be construed as medical advice. It is not a substitute for professional medical advice, diagnosis, or treatment.
Hey, 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 welcome. It is time for Naturally Inspired Radio. I'm so excited you're joining me today. It's kind of a blustery day here in northern Colorado, I would say. The ground is crunchy with like leaves and stuff. Yesterday, Jason and I went for a hike up to Pinewood Lake. It's a little bit higher elevation. And there was ice along the outside of the lake. There was ice. There was ice, people. I know it's November, so I guess it is. But you know me, I'm constantly just like, mourning the loss of summer, I guess. I'm always mourning the loss of heat in summer. So anyway, it's definitely, creeping towards winter. We saw a great big beaver yesterday. He was so cute, just hanging out by the lake. So that was cool. We had a good day out in nature. I hope you got out in nature this weekend. Such an important part of our connection to the earth and just keeping our sanity in this world. Let me tell you, yesterday, it was good we went for a walk yesterday because I was finding myself getting pretty amped up about what I was seeing online over the weekend. Wow. I guess I'll just say, like, I'm to the point now where I feel like, again, I've said to you, like I'm an observer. I'm just an observer. I'm just observing, what's going on in the world. But, my goodness, the things going on in Canada are, they're upsetting. And I had to really think about it. Like, why is this so upsetting to me? Well, because, I was born there. I was raised there. My whole childhood was there. My mom's ashes are scattered in my neighborhood where I grew up. My sister lives there. My nephew lives there. My brother-in-law lives there. Like, my aunt lives there. Like, my family's all there. And, but I think it was more than I'm scared. I'm worried for them. I think is my top priority. I actually just can't believe that it's at this point. I can't believe that it's at this point. And if you're not following what's going on over there, I'll just and I'll tell you up front, like, I'm a little nervous talking about this today. And I don't know how to proceed. I really don't know how to proceed ongoing when it comes to Canada. Because things are changing so quickly there. And it makes me a little nervous. And it got me thinking about, like, why and how much fear we have in our society. Why is the fear there? And how much of what we do is controlled by fear? Like, a lot of the decisions we make on a daily basis are because of fear. I had a conversation last week with a great gal, and she was asking, what do you think about this? And what do you think about that? We got onto the topic of health insurance. And I just said point blank, it's my observation that a lot of people have health insurance, not because they want it, that it even provides them the care that they want. They have it because they're fearful of not having it. Because there's a narrative, which also just happens to promote the selling of health insurance. And there's a narrative that you got to have it, man. You will be devastated if you don't have health insurance. I had an acquaintance at one point in my life, long time ago, like when my kids were still in school, who told me point blank, I only work this job for the health insurance. Hated her job. She absolutely hated her job. Hated it. And she said, the only reason I work here is because of the health insurance. And the health insurance is fantastic, she said. And that just perplexed me. I'm like, whoa. So you're telling me you spend 40 plus hours a week at a job you hate for a low wage just for the health insurance? Like that's slavery. That's being enslaved, I don't know. How often are you going to the doctor every day? Are you using your health insurance every day? Is that contributing to your life in a way that you're willing to dedicate 40 plus hours a week for health insurance? That was years ago, and that blew my mind years ago before I did what I do now. That blew my mind. But then, as I have further conversations with people, I say, you do know that people who have health insurance, they go bankrupt from their medical bills anyway, a lot of times, because, your insurance kind of caps out at a certain point. So there's still and then there's stuff, well, we don't cover that. We don't cover this. This is declined. We're not covering this. And, this is lab costs. And you know what I mean? So if you're a family of 5 and you're paying $48,000 a year for health insurance, which is what people are paying with deductibles, this is what they would have to pay to access coverage. because everybody in the family has a deductible now. So man, if you put $48K in an account, or maybe put it on an investment like a real estate property or something, do you think possibly if something happened to you and you had to pull out some of that money, or could you make payments on your medical bills? I'm pretty sure you can. Just be like making payments on your health insurance, So it's just like a reframing of things. It's a reframing of like what makes sense. But we don't even take the time to reframe things because we're just hooked on that storyline that we need to be fearful of this. And so I started thinking about that. And then I started thinking about why people do what they do in life. And especially over the last 6 years, how much fear has dominated our society. It's completely dominated it. It's pervasive. And so I started thinking about this, and I started thinking about free speech, because the UN has now come out and made a declaration about free speech. I want to share this clip with you out of the UN. Take a listen.
The spread of hatred and lies online is causing grave harm to our world. Misinformation, disinformation, and hate speech are fueling prejudice and violence, exacerbating divisions and conflicts, demonizing minorities, and compromising the integrity of elections.
Hate speech. There's that word hate speech again. That's why it was really important. And, I think Jordan Peterson in Canada tried to make this point. What is hate speech, right? Who gets to define hate speech? We can't do that. There's no such thing as hate speech. Hate speech. Well, there's speech you don't like. There's speech that you find repulsive. There's speech that pisses you off. There's speech that creates emotions for sure. But when you get into the hate speech subjective label, you're getting into some really dicey territory. And that's becoming a bigger and bigger problem by the day. This is Mark Carney in Canada this weekend. Take a listen.
Large American online platforms have become seas of racism, misogyny, anti-Semitism, Islamophobia, and hate in all its forms. And they're being used by criminals to harm our children. My government will act. And today we're announcing our plan to fight crime, to protect Canadians, and to build communities that are safe, secure, and strong. A plan to make Canada secure, to make Canada strong.
That, of course, is coming on the heels of a lot of things going on in Canada. Let me just get my list here. In no particular order, we got a land grab going on over there. We have a gun grab. We have a digital ID. We have an invasion of immigrants that aren't conducive with the Western values. We have a carbon tax that's getting out of control. And more carbon rules to come. We got a gender dystopia thing going on over there in Canada where parental rights are being diminished in correlation with that whole gender issue. We have inhumane tactics that are being used to demoralize the population. There's a lot going on there. And when I heard that last night, Jason and I had a discussion, and he said, I don't think you should talk about that anymore. And I said, okay, why do you think that? And he, we went back and forth, and The truth is, we're not fearful of, the repercussions of things. We want to know if it's worth it. We want to know if it's worth it. And I'll tell you what I mean when we come back. This is Naturally Inspired Radio. I'm Tammy Cuthbert-Garcia, and I'm so glad you're here. We'll be right back.
Did you know that a single collagen supplement could support your heart health, help protect against EMF exposure, and reduce inflammation all at the same time? Our preferred foundational collagen not only supports radiant skin and joint mobility, but also promotes heart health, reduces inflammation, strengthens hair and nails, provides added protection against the effects of EMF exposure, and so much more. Our favorite collagen is super absorbable and easy to take. Just 1 tablespoon in the morning and another in the evening for maximum benefits. Here's what our listeners have to say.
This collagen is so easy to take, I've noticed a huge difference in my hair and nails after just a few weeks.
Since I started using Tammy's preferred collagen, my joints feel more flexible and my skin looks smoother.
Try it today at naturallyinspiredradio.com/collagen. When you purchase from Naturally Inspired, you get access to our group health coaching call and so much more. Go to naturallyinspiredradio.com/collagen.
Welcome back. Often I get texts from you. Boy, my text line is hopping these days. It's really busy. If you haven't heard from me yet, be patient. I'm coming around you. Like I said, it's just been hopping lately. So how can you support us? That's what I get asked on my text line. I would love to support you. Thank you so much for doing what you do. Really appreciate you talking about this story or that story. And thank you for what you do. That's what I get a lot. How do I support you? Go to naturallyinspiredstore.com, become a member with just a $50 purchase. And you'll get 15% off all the products from that product line forever. So you don't have to pay retail there. They're all wonderful, non-toxic products. And that is how you support us. When you become a customer, you get my service. You get access to my health text line. You get my Tuesday night weekly wellness workshops and so much more. So if you have any questions about that at all, just text me 720-303-8868. Let's get back into this very important conversation that we're having here. I bet you're thinking, what is she talking about? What do you mean? Is it worth it? Well, let me try to explain. Because, a lot of times when I'm doing my show, I'm really trying to work things out. Trying to understand, what's going on in the world, be reasonable. I'm just trying to be a reasonable person here, So let me just explain, I'm starting to is this worth it? Talking about Canada. I love it there. I love the people. Okay. But here's the thing. We're going to have free speech where people are willing to protect it. We'll have free speech where you're allowed to have it, and you'll be allowed to have it because the people, the number of people will make it so. Here's the thing, you can't hit 1 million targets, So if these people at the UN, they're going to push back on free speech, what are they going to do? They're going to shut down the social media platforms? I don't know. They're going to, I can't help but think the reason why the new wave of censorship is incoming is because of people like Candace Owens and Tucker Carlson and Nick Fuentes, 3 targets. What other names come to mind? What other names come to mind when you think of people that are saying things, that the corporate gangsters don't like? Not a ton, right? I mean, I know there are more, but let's be honest here. Like how long's the list? It's really not that long of a list. You know, I'm talking about the people that are getting millions of views. It's not that long of a list. And so if it's not that long of a list, guess what happens? Pressure can be applied very easily from the corporate gangsters. Very easily. Demonetization, right? We've seen it. And even worse, for goodness sakes. Even worse, right? We don't know what happened to Charlie Kirk. But how many Charlie Kirks do you know? Not very many, right? And so what I'm saying here is that, you know, if you only have a short list of people, well, then it's very easy to put a target on them. And it's very easy, really, to stop the movement if they make an example out of those people and then fear spreads. Fear. It's the ultimate controller, right? So the thing is that that's when I'm talking about Canada specifically, I'm talking about all this stuff. Listen, I've been talking about Canada for years. And, you know, I lost my Facebook page. I got sternly worded letters from many people that were on my Facebook page that I knew from, you know, school, or that were family friends of my parents telling me how stupid I was, how wrong I was, how dare I say this, I was killing people. There was no support there. But nonetheless, I carried on, you know. You guys it's trouble. It's trouble. You got some trouble. You got some trouble. Warning, warning. Why did I do that? Why did I do that? Was it just for me? Like, why do you think people speak up? Is it just because they want to? I felt like I had to say something because danger, danger, danger. You're in danger. Like, you're in big danger. It's the same reason why I tried to warn people about the injections. You're in danger. You're making I grant, of course, freedom. But I don't think you have all the information. Maybe take a look at the information, because the information was undeniable. It was undeniable. It was only the TV that was telling you to take the injections, safe and effective. They work, because the product website never made such a claim. They can't, because of liability. You could have went back there then on the product website. If the product website had said, and I'm still talking specifically about COVID injections here, if the product website had said stops transmission, you'll never get sick a day in your life, it stops with you, this is what happens, you'll be healed, blah, blah, blah. If it had said that, well, then we got a liability issue. And so it was obvious they weren't saying much, you know? Very subjective claims like, this might keep you out of the hospital. This might keep you from dying. It was the TV and the media that was telling you all the other stuff. And because nobody could get past that and look at the product website, many people got sucked in. And the number is higher in Canada, percentage-wise, of people that got sucked in Canada versus people that got sucked in the US. And largely because their government started filtering information right away too. I think that has a big part of it. But at some point you have to accept that the people they actually want what's coming. And so why put myself at risk here talking about this stuff, if this is what the majority of the people want? Now, I know that there are wonderful Canadians listening to this show, and they're like, probably think I'm, being mean or insensitive or whatever. But like, really, you have to have the numbers. You have to have the numbers. And you know what? You didn't have the numbers for the gun grab. And you don't have the numbers for the carbon tax and the gender dystopia. I mean, there's so many parents that I've seen, dads crying on social media because that government won't allow them to stop their child from transitioning, which is like, it's medical malfeasance. That operation doesn't do what it says it does. So regardless of the social part of it, the operation, the medical procedure doesn't do what it claims to do. It doesn't change your gender. All it does is mask and mutilate your genitals. And it leads to more infection. It leads to more risk. It leads to a lifetime of pharmaceuticals. This is not a solution. It's not a viable solution. It causes more harm than it does good. But nobody's like outraged in the streets over these parental rights being lost. Nobody's outraged in the streets about the gun grab or even the invasion of immigrants that you have there we have it here too. I think it's happening everywhere. And then the inhumane tactics that we just saw recently, that was specific to demoralizing the population once again. And so, I don't know. I hope I'm wrong. In fact, I hope people there see this and it inspires something in them. I hope it does. I pray that it does. Because you got to be loud. You got to be loud. You have to be okay with people not liking you. You have to be willing to lose things. You have to be inconvenienced. You can't cry because you have to leave your government job. You really do have to value freedom more than being perceived as being polite. It's not easy. I've done all those things. I've done all those things over the last 6 years. I've been loud. I've had people tell me I'm loud, I'm rude. I have people that don't like me anymore. So why do you do this? Why? Well, that's how serious it is, everybody. That's how serious it is. You're on the verge of losing something that I don't truly think most people even understand what they're going to lose until it's gone. I mean, I just read an article too, like you're about to lose rights to natural medicine, natural products. I don't do it because I just want to do it and it's cool to say it. I do it because I deeply feel scared for you. I hope you can hear that. You're listening to Naturally Inspired Radio. I'm Tammy Cuthbert-Garcia. We'll be right back.
Did you know 80% of beef consumed in the U.S. comes from 4 major corporations, much of it being imported or processed with additives? Want real beef from a real farm? Pumpkin Creek Ranch does things the right way. Local, grass-fed, dry-aged beef with no additives, no shortcuts, just honest quality.
Pumpkin Creek Ranch beef is the real deal. I love knowing exactly where my meat comes from. No additives, no nonsense, just honest quality beef.
Best beef I've ever had. You can taste the difference. Rich, tender, and packed with real flavor. Plus, supporting a local ranch makes it even better.
From pasture to plate, they raise their cattle with care so you can get rich, natural flavor that only real ranching can provide. Stock your freezer with premium beef you can trust. Visit pumpkincreekranchco.com or call 970-658-0176.
I'm so excited. I'm so excited because more and more I'm getting the feedback that Naturally Inspired is helping more and more people every week. Like, it's just so exciting. People losing 25 pounds, 30 pounds. Some people are starting out and it's like they haven't been able to move the scale for years. And they've finished their first week being part of Naturally Inspired community and they've lost 6 pounds. This is like, yeah, once you dial it in, you can figure out what's going on pretty easy. And it's not just about weight loss here. It's not, the scale is one measurement. It's about energy. It's about vitality. It's about the way you feel. And people are feeling better in the Naturally Inspired community. So join us today. Head on over to naturallyinspiredstore.com. Make a purchase of just $50, and that gets you into the community. You get my health text line. You get the Tuesday night weekly wellness, which we'll be doing tomorrow night at 7 o'clock, and so much more. It's time. It's time to reclaim your health, and you can do it with Naturally Inspired. So join us today, naturallyinspiredstore.com. I got another clip I want to share with you out of the UK. Again, free speech, I think, is really under attack. And I just don't get it, because to me, I don't want to silence my enemies. Just keep talking. Please keep talking, because you're spewing nonsense. And the more you talk, well, the more people understand what's really going on. And that's the only reason I think these people want to silence voices like myself, voices like, many other people that have been silenced. This is out of the UK. This one kind of blew my mind here. Ex-footballer Joey Barton. They love their football in Europe, right? They love their football. And this is kind of shocking. So he's paying a price here. Take a listen to this.
Former footballer Joey Barton has been found guilty of posting grossly offensive messages on social media. The posts were directed at Jeremy Vine and the football commentators Lucy Ward and Eni Aluko. In one post, Barton compared Ward and Aluko to the Fred and Rose West of football commentary. After a 5-day trial, the jury at Liverpool Crown Court decided that Barton had crossed the line between free speech and a crime on 6 counts.
So they're pulling athletes in to arrest them and charge them with hate speech crimes online. I had to look it up because I didn't even know who he was talking about here. I had to look it up. Who is this West? He compared them to a couple with the last name West, who I guess were serial killers. They were serial killers and committed horrible crimes. So comparing football commentators to serial killers in a Facebook post or in a social media post landed this guy arrested and in court, charged with a hate crime in the UK. That's where we're at. And I'm sure it was a joke, because I don't know, but that's how sarcasm, we're losing the thread on sarcasm big time. And this is very, challenging for Gen Xers like myself. Let me tell you, because we grew up on sarcasm. We grew up on sarcasm and eye rolls and okay, yeah. That was a coping mechanism for us, I guess. But, it was also fun. Yeah, it was also fun. It's all like, you're sarcastic with your friends and, you make fun of your friends. It's actually like endearment, right? You're like, if you're not being made fun of in Gen X, then nobody likes you. You know what I mean? Like if everybody says, it's just the way we express ourselves. And apparently now this is a hate crime. This is a hate crime. And I don't know. I didn't, get down to the nitty gritty of this case, but do you see how ridiculous we're getting with all of this? We're trying to police everybody. Don't say that. Don't say that. Hate crime, hate crime, hate crime. You are going to be doing this forever. And it's just going to get worse and worse and worse to the point where, social media is going to be so incredibly boring. Like if I was a social media platforms, I'd be fighting to keep things open because it's pretty boring without the people that push the envelope. People who push the envelope that are like, hey, well, what about this? Like, this is critical. Oh, you're a moron. That's kind of what makes it interesting is someone challenging your viewpoint. But if it gets all homogenous and everybody's just, banging the same drum, blah, blah, fake and gay everywhere, right? It's going to be very boring. And I don't think there's going to be a lot of people that go to it because it's fake. And if you're a human with a pulse, you tend to be attracted to a little bit of authenticity, because if you live in the fake world all the time, it kind of starts making you feel crappy because you're like, wow, that doesn't look like my life. I can't relate to all this shiny, perfect stuff, And so you're like, meh, I think I'll spend less time on there. So if I was the social media platforms, I think I'd be pioneering and championing free speech because it's going to kill your business model. Censorship will kill your business model. Because it is boring. It is boring when everybody says the same thing. What was it? Stepford Wives, that didn't end well. Everybody's all the same. It's going to be incredibly boring place to hang out. So I'd be fighting for your free speech. But who knows? We know how much government has control over these free speech platforms. They sure have a lot. So that was kind of shocking to me, but I guess, I've seen other videos as well of elderly people being arrested for, there was one I saw who, there was an older gentleman in a wheelchair who was old, right? And he was having a hard time hearing. He asked a immigrant that had an accent, I guess, to please speak English because he couldn't hear him. Please speak English. I can't understand. I can't understand you. Please speak English. Couldn't understand. And he got a prompt visit from the cops because saying, please speak English was apparently a hate crime. This stuff over there in the UK is getting insane. And I feel like Canada's about to enter that space as well. And there's a big setup here. There's a big setup going on. And I think that's what's happening. There's a setup happening. I see a lot of people talking about the land grab and whatnot. Of course, we've talked about it a little bit on here with the land acknowledgements and now the First Nations people claiming deeds, title over the land. And then, over the weekend, we saw a lot of drone footage of reservations where, the land's not really being kept up that well. And I'll tell you, it's an orchestrated plan. This is about energy. And we all need to keep our eyes open because energy is the commodity that is in high demand for the development of the digital revolution. And so there's going to be changes being made. And if you just take a couple of beats and really put the pieces together here, you'll understand the whole ad campaign around climate change and how it just flows right into certain people's pocketbooks with the solutions for climate change. And, there's a big, it's just so obvious. But I guess if you haven't been following it the whole time, it might not be obvious. But I think if you're looking at the specifics here of why, I don't think the First Nations people really want to manage the lands of Canada, nor do they have the infrastructure really to manage the lands of Canada. But I'm betting that they would go into a deal with the Canadian government so that the Canadian government manages the land on behalf of the First Nations people and then, uses the land because it's the greatest resource right now, especially if you're somebody like, I don't know, Carney, who's invested in Brookfield, who needs land for wind energy, for solar energy, for water to build data centers that need cooling. And, we're talking about almost unimaginable amounts of energy needed to power artificial intelligence and to power the digital revolution. Almost unimaginable amounts of energy. I've used this description before because I think it helps people put it into perspective. It's 1.5 liters per water needed for one question on ChatGPT. That's what the engineers are saying. That's not my statistic. That's what the engineers are talking about. So yeah, the race for power, for energy, to be able to sell it to other countries, to be able to use it for your own investments. I mean, I can't stress enough how energy is going to be playing a huge part in the future. And, we're rolling down the tracks at Mach speeds here towards artificial intelligence. And so it makes sense, that all that stuff is going on there in Canada. They're looking to position themselves in the marketplace for energy. Stay tuned, everybody. Your naturally inspired moment is up next. We'll be right back.
Did you know that nearly 70% of Americans struggle with their health every single day? That's why we are reaching out to health professionals and to anyone who simply has a heart for helping people. Right now, there's an opportunity to make a real difference in people's lives while building a flexible income stream for yourself. Whether you're already working in health, wellness, or just passionate about seeing people thrive, we want to connect with you and introduce you to our system. Together, we can provide real solutions that empower people to take control of their health and create lasting impact. If you've been looking for a way to combine purpose with income, this is it. Visit simplehealthincome.com or text 720-764-7448. That's simplehealthincome.com or text 720-764-7448. We look forward to working with you.
Welcome back. You're listening to Naturally Inspired Radio. Listen, I just wish everybody would start looking at things from a business perspective, because when you understand that countries are run like businesses, and when you understand that big top businessmen try to get into politics as much as possible because they're trying to manage regulation. Our countries have become micromanagers at regulation, a law for this, a law for that, hold them up in building with all the regulation. This is what's driven business people into politics, because they need a hand in regulation in order to make their businesses successful. It's like you can't do it unless you're able to shape government. So much red tape. I mean, my goodness. It's just, you got to laugh at it. You got to laugh at it because we're all victims of over-regulation. For goodness sakes, Jason just renewed some plates on a car we have and stuff, and he printed off the receipt for it. And I saw the list of fees listed, and this is from the state of Colorado, right? Gosh, that used to piss me off when I would go in there and get plates or whatever. And they'd say, well, that's a fee. I'd say, well, this thing's $25 or whatever. What are all these fees? Well, they're fees. But what are the fees for? Well, they're fees. Well, I'm already paying a fee. Like, I don't get it. So anyway, this thing's printed out and it's upstairs in our office. And I was looking at it. They now have a fee for the clerk. So hiring a clerk through the state of Colorado for, the DMV or whatever, there's an extra fee for that. So you're paying for your plates, you're paying for your registration, you're paying for the actual plates and, all that. But then there's an extra fee, several extra fees that are just specific. So there's like a fee for hiring a clerk. And I was just in there the other day, and I was watching these ladies, eat from their desk while we were all sitting there waiting. They got to have a break. So we're paying it's out of control. You know what I'm saying? So it makes sense that these businessmen are like, well, I'm the CEO. I'm of this. I've invested my whole legacy into building, like Trump. So I got to have some say over this. So I don't know. That's what's going on here. And I hope people can see that, when things are happening. I'm not trying to, discourage anybody, but listen, you're not going to get anything done. Nothing's going to change unless you get a lot of numbers and people just stop doing things. It's not about violence or anything. Just stop doing the things that they want you to do in mass numbers. Just stop. And that's when change comes, because then the marketplace changes. Anyway, let's get on to our naturally inspired moment, because I got a good one for you today. This is very, very important. So today's naturally inspired moment, I always say this, we teach people how to treat us. And it's so important that, people really understand that, because there's nothing confusing about people's behavior once you understand it and what it means. So a lot of people, they don't want to say things, but their behavior, actions speak louder than words, right? So you gotta, we have to be observant, and it's okay. There's going to be people that don't like you, and it's totally okay. You're going to live. Trust me, it'll be okay. But don't waste your energy on them, because their energy withdraws. And you'll be able to, when you're present and you're interpreting signals the way you should be, you won't waste your energy. So, people, they'll talk to you, but what they say and what they do, that's where you see, conflicting behaviors. Oh yeah, we're friends or whatever, but yet the action's not really there. And so it's okay. You don't have to make them say, I don't like you, but don't waste your time on them. Because people might still talk to you. Conversations will start to feel maybe transactional or short or forced. Maybe they no longer make eye contact, or they don't laugh, or they don't ask personal questions, or even ask you how you are. Because the interaction's now becoming more one-sided. So people's true feelings live in their tone and their body language. It's not their sentences. They offer surface politeness, but no genuine connection. They'll stay just cordial enough to avoid confrontation with a nod or a hi, but there's no follow through, no effort, no depth. Their goal is to keep peace, not to actually form a relationship. Politeness without presence is indifference in disguise. They include you out of obligation, not intention. So you'll notice that you're invited at the last minute or only when others insist that you get invited. They check the box of decency, but never initiate on their own. They may undermine subtlety. So they might dismiss your ideas, give you half-hearted compliments, or share your successes with a hint of sarcasm. It's passive-aggressive, masquerading as humor and honesty. Or honesty, rather. They don't invest emotionally. They stop showing curiosity about your life or offer minimal empathy when you're hurting, and they don't celebrate your wins. They're physically present, but emotionally checked out because they're protecting themselves from the discomfort of the truth. Do yourself a favor and don't allow that, because what you're doing is you're accommodating them. You're accommodating, they don't want to feel the pain or the discomfort of letting you know that they don't like you. So a more proactive way to be with that is just don't allow it. Don't allow it, because you set the tone by how you treat yourself. People mirror the standard you live by. So when you speak kindly to yourself, when you honor your own boundaries, when you show self-discipline, others sense your worth and they follow suit. They mirror how you treat yourself. Self-respect teaches respect louder than any lecture or words ever could. So, it's okay that people don't like you, but it doesn't mean that you have to tolerate people treating you poorly, because that'll take a little bit of your self-respect away, because you know that you're putting up with this. You're putting up for this. Why? It's not an authentic relationship. Cordial, you got to be cordial. You don't want to create uncomfortableness for people around you, but you don't have to chase people. Use boundaries, not ultimatums. So boundaries are about what you will or won't allow, not about controlling others. That's not what they're about. So say things like, I'm not available for conversations that turn disrespectful, instead of saying, you better not talk to me like that. Boundaries are quiet strength. They aren't control. Like, for example, I had a friend at one point that, brought up this topic all the time that made me really uncomfortable. And, it was very low vibration, poor me, almost suicidal type of discussion. And I'm not qualified to help you with those types of deep issues. And so I'm sorry that you feel that way. My advice to you is to get some help with that, but I can't be, I can't listen to that all the time That's crossing a boundary with me. Now I feel responsible for the way you feel. Like I need to do something about it. And that's not a two-way street in a friendship. Right? So you're perfectly within your right to set boundaries because people will use things to manipulate you, to corner you, to capture your energy. Be consistent with consequences. If you draw a line but keep letting people cross it, you're teaching them that your words are optional. Follow through builds credibility. Every time you uphold your boundary, you're teaching others that your peace matters. Number 4, reward respect. Withdraw from disrespect. You don't have to punish bad behavior. You don't have to freak out. You don't have to tell anybody anything. Simply just remove access to your time, your energy, and your attention. People learn quickly when warmth and connection disappear after they cross a line with you. Silence and distance can be stronger teachers than anger. Number 5, model the treatment you expect. Lead with the same grace, honesty, and accountability you want from others. Your example will attract those capable of reciprocating and repel those who can't. You don't demand respect. You embody it until it becomes your atmosphere. Every time you show up with clarity and calmness, conviction, you teach the world how to value you. The people meant to stay will rise to meet your standards, or they're probably already at your standards, and that's why they're friends with you. And the rest will quietly fade. So do an audit of how you are teaching people how to treat you. I think this is so important because, again, I'll go back to what I was talking about at the top of the show here, how much fear is controlling our decisions in our society. Fear of this outcome, that consequence, somebody not liking me, being called a racist, being called a this, being called that. You're never going to please everybody. It's impossible. And you will never be able to control other people's perception of you, ever. Because their perception of you is built on their life experience. It has very little to do with you. It has very little to do with you. It is their perception is built off of their experiences. And so trying to control everything, like these governments trying to control hate speech, it's a ridiculous approach. It's not going to work. It's going to send people into isolation. And it will create disastrous outcomes. Be the light. Be who you truly are. Raise your standards and don't be fearful of people leaving you. They're not meant to be there in the first place. You're listening to Naturally Inspired Radio. Stay tuned. We'll be back. I've got a new segment for you. I think you're going to love it.
Are you ready to stay informed and inspired 24/7? Tune in to Naturally Inspired Radio anytime, anywhere. Visit naturallyinspiredradio.com, or for the best mobile experience, download the Simple Radio app. Search for Naturally Inspired Radio, save it to your favorites, and click on the graphic to listen instantly. Catch live broadcasts, revisit past shows, dive into long-form podcast conversations, and discover rare, censored presentations by leading health experts. Plus, explore documentaries uncovering the hidden truths of occult and esoteric history. Stay connected, stay inspired. Naturally Inspired Radio is always at your fingertips. Tune in now. For health questions or comments, text Tammy directly at 720-303-8868. naturallyinspiredradio.com.
Welcome to Naturally Inspired Radio, where we expose what's broken in the healthcare system, connect you to real health solutions, and inspire you to take back control of your life. We want to help you feel empowered, informed, and free to live naturally without fear, confusion, or dependency. Download our latest book on real solutions for health at naturallyinspiredradio.com. Naturally Inspired Radio is a nationally syndicated show broadcast on over 100 radio stations, online platforms, video channels, and podcast feeds. Follow us on your favorite platform today, hit that like button, leave a comment, and engage in our special live stream chats, Monday through Friday, 3 p.m. to 5 p.m. Mountain Standard Time. Visit naturallyinspiredradio.com to learn more, register for our weekly giveaway, and explore past episodes. You can also connect directly with Tammy, follow her on all major social media platforms, and discover more about our featured guests and trusted radio partners. Are you looking for better health? Work with Tammy today and take the first step toward a healthier, more empowered lifestyle. Schedule your complimentary 30-minute lifestyle assessment to explore personalized guidance on nutrition, movement, toxin-free living, and natural beauty without pharma. Get started now and discover Tammy's preferred health products at naturallyinspiredstore.com or text Tammy directly 720-303-8868. Love the show and want to support the movement? Head over to naturallyinspiredradio.com and click on the support tab. There you'll find all the ways you can get involved. Join our Naturally Inspired community, become a preferred customer, attend one of our amazing live events, get your backstage pass for exclusive access, and connect to all things naturally inspired. Thank you for tuning in today. Now sit back, relax, and enjoy the show.
The information and other content provided on this radio show or in any linked materials is provided for informational purposes only, not intended and should not be construed as medical advice. It is not a substitute for professional medical advice, diagnosis, or treatment.
Welcome back. We're already into hour 2 of Naturally Inspired Radio, and I cannot believe how fast my time goes with you. In the first hour, we're talking about fear and how much fear controls our society and controls people and their decisions. All of us are this. Some are more fearful than others. You know, the antidote to fear is faith. I just want to tell you that. The antidote to fear is faith. So if you're struggling with fear, check your faith. Check your faith. I just want to say this too I just finished up with the Naturally Inspired Moment, and today's Naturally Inspired Moment was, about how you really teach people how to treat you. And do you guys remember, I'm going to totally date myself now. There was a book, I think I was like maybe 19 or 18 when it came out. And I think they ended up making it into a movie, and it was called He's Just Not That Into You. And it was this book that was just like point blank, like telling women, hey, stop playing the games because, he's just not that into you. It's not that complicated, because people's words may be confusing, but their behavior is not. So they may not want to be mean and tell you point blank, I'm not that into you. But if you're like me, you probably wish they would, because don't waste my time. And I guess that's what I'm saying with my naturally inspired moment today, is that don't waste your time. You don't want to be friends with people who are trying to manipulate you. You don't want to be friends with people who don't care enough to even ask you how you are. If that's the way the relationship is, it's sucking you of your energy. And there's plenty of other people in the world that would enjoy your light and enjoy your energy. And you'll get more out of it instead of being drugged down and questioning yourself. Like, did I say this the wrong way? Did I say that the wrong way? There's nothing confusing about the way people behave. And maybe they're just not into you. And it's totally okay. Like, there's a lot of people that will be. Yeah. So, it's kind of like art, right? There's some people that look at art and they're like, what the hell is that? It's ugly. And then there's other people that pay millions of dollars for it. Like, that's kind of how the world is meant to operate. And what these people who are trying to control speech and control the internet and they're trying to take the humanness out of it. Because they're we're just trying to help you. We're trying to make everybody safe. Oh, that's a bunch of load of what. That's not what it's about. It's about control. It's about control. And we got to be okay with our feelings getting hurt. We've got to be okay and understanding that, hey, he's just not that into you. It's okay. You're going to be okay. Somebody else is going to come along. Like, you will be all right. But wasting your time chasing people around or, trying to make things feel, walking on eggshells because you're afraid you're going to get canceled. We're all on the verge of losing our freedoms because of this. Is it worth it? Is it worth it? I think we can probably agree it's not, right? You want your kids to have the same opportunities that you've had, to own property, to build a business, to, just be American? Then stop. Stop trying to be everybody's perfect thing and just be yourself and be true to what is truth, right? Be true to what, who you are. And stop apologizing for it. So last week, I told you there was this podcaster. I think the left has a new favorite podcaster they're trying to pump out and get people to like. And I played a clip from her last week where she said, America has no culture. Well, boy, if that didn't make me mad, I was like, what are you talking about? What are you talking about? America doesn't have any culture? What are you talking about? So instead of argue with people, I'm going to start introducing you and reminding you how awesome your culture is. Because you most definitely have culture in America. Some would argue it's the very best because there's a whole heck of a lot of people that want to come here. And the reason why they want to come here is because it's cool. And it's always been cool. It's always been cool. So I'm going to pick out little things over the coming weeks to remind you of your culture and how freaking cool American culture is. Culture is the shared pattern of beliefs, the shared pattern of values, behaviors, customs, language, art. These are the social norms that have defined and do define a group of people. That's what culture is. It's essentially how we do things around here. That's culture. It's a fancy word for this is how we do things here. So guiding principles, what a society or group considers important or true, for example, individual freedom in American culture or harmony and respect in Japanese culture. Language shapes how people express ideas and relate to one another. Even gestures, tones, and humor differ between cultures. Customs and traditions. These include rituals, holidays, food, clothing, ceremonies that give life and rhythm and meaning. Things like Thanksgiving, right? Or festivities around Christmas. Art and expression, music, dance, literature, architecture. This all reflects culture, a culture's imagination, creativity, their history, and their worldview. So when someone tells you America has no culture, you should be offended. And you should defend your culture. I want to remind you that America invented rock and roll. It was Chuck Berry, actually, that invented rock and roll. He's the father of rock and roll. He's deemed the father. And I know there'll be people out there that are like, hey, he didn't do it. It was this or that. Yeah, it definitely came from blues, for sure. But rock and roll itself was something new. He merged blues guitars riffs with country rhythm, wrote songs about teenage life, and performed with unmatched showmanship. He had signature songs, you know them, Johnny B. Good, Maybelline, Roll Over Beethoven. His legacy is his guitar style and storytelling in songs. And we still live with that today. So when was he born? I wrote it down. I think 1926 he was born. Yeah. He was born 1926 in St. Louis, Missouri. He's American. An American who invented a whole genre of music. By the way, just so you know, it's the most popular music on the planet. It's the most popular. Came from America. That's part of your culture. Own it. Watch this. This is Chuck Berry. And because he was, an outlier and decided to take the risk to share his creativity, this new way of playing, well, what did it do? It was contagious. Then we got people like Little Richard, which they call the architect of rock and roll, because he had wild piano playing. He intergrained gospel-inspired vocals. He had flamboyant stage presence. He broke racial and cultural barriers with Tutti Frutti and Long Tall Sally. He's listed as being inspiration to Prince. Fats Domino, another one out of New Orleans. That's America. That's America. And of course, the king, Elvis Presley, also American. Also American. Bill Haley and the Comets. Rock and roll started in 1951. So I think we think that culture had to come from some, ancient history. Culture's layered. It grows and it builds, right? But it's layered. You don't forget the bottom layer. You build on top of it, right? You build on top of it. It evolves. You never forget what was, but you also embrace where you are. And it's just fascinating to me that the coolest country in the world has allowed themselves to be buried and ashamed to the point where we have these entitled people who publicly state that America has no culture. I wasn't even born here. And I can clearly appreciate and respect the culture of America. Maybe it isn't pretty. Maybe it's not the prettiest. Maybe it's not the tidiest. But it sure is the best I've ever seen. Never, ever, ever let anybody make you apologize for who you are. It's absolutely sickening that this is happening. I hope this segment will help you reconnect and claim your culture. Stay tuned. We'll be right back.
Did you know that a single collagen supplement could support your heart health, help protect against EMF exposure, and reduce inflammation all at the same time? Our preferred foundational collagen not only supports radiant skin and joint mobility, but also promotes heart health, reduces inflammation, strengthens hair and nails, provides added protection against the effects of EMF exposure, and so much more. Our favorite collagen is super absorbable and easy to take. Just 1 tablespoon in the morning and another in the evening for maximum benefits. Here's what our listeners have to say.
This collagen is so easy to take, I've noticed a huge difference in my hair and nails after just a few weeks.
Since I started using Tammy's preferred collagen, my joints feel more flexible and my skin looks smoother.
Try it today at naturalinspiredradio.com/collagen. When you purchase from Naturally Inspired, you get access to our group health coaching call and so much more. Go to naturalinspiredradio.com/collagen.
Encourage you to join the Naturally Inspired community. Health is culture, let me tell you, because you can't enjoy any of this stuff when you're not feeling well. And I'll tell you, we have a pharma culture in this country that has been pushed upon us. It's all been a lie, actually. You can cultivate health in yourself with lifestyle. You don't need pills. You don't need all this outside stuff. You just need the formula. You need to feed your body and, practice a healthy lifestyle. So if that sounds good to you, if you are done with the pharma model, if you are done with being lied to, then get yourself in a supportive community where you can make critical decisions for yourself and get better results with your health. Visit us at naturalinspiredstore.com. You make a $50 purchase one time. That gets you free membership. You can purchase products off the website and get 15% off for a lifetime. There's money back guarantee with all of our products. And that just gets you right into the Naturally Inspired community because all our customers are part of the Naturally Inspired community. You get my health text line, you get weekly wellness workshops, and so much more. So if you have any questions about it, just text me 720-303-8868. Otherwise, join us today at naturalinspiredstore.com. Let's get into some news because there's some important stuff going on with your health. Popular podcast had a guest on, and I could not agree more. And I'm going to just well, you know what? Let's go to the clip first. We'll go to the clip and then I will tell you what I think about it. So let's go there. Here it is.
I don't want to see these studies. I hate seeing this, actually. I'm really angry that people have to suffer with cancer because it's so preventable. There was a study recently that looked at removing certain ingredients from beauty and personal care products. So women without any history of breast cancer were asked to remove these ingredients from their products for 28 days. So that's very short. 4 weeks, right? They took cells from the breast tissue. They were all normal. They measured the amount of breast cancer gene expression. After 28 days, they took another sample. So after 28 days of removing these ingredients, they took another sample and they saw that the breast cancer gene expression dropped. And the only thing that they were asked to change about their lifestyle was to remove these ingredients from their beauty and personal care products.
And which products were they told to remove and what ingredients were those?
It was skincare, deodorant, shampoo, things that most people are using. And the ingredients were phthalates, which can often be found in fragrance. So the seemingly innocuous little term on the ingredients list, fragrance or parfum, can contain a huge number of chemicals. It's hidden behind this umbrella term because by law in Europe and in the US, manufacturers do not have to disclose this. And the answer is yes.
How do I find a safer alternative? What am I looking for?
So you don't want fragrances.
At all?
And you definitely, yes, so avoid the word fragrance unless it says that the fragrance comes from essential oils.
Okay, but if it comes from essential oils, will it still make me smell nice?
Yes.
So I found this clip so fascinating because, sometimes I get questions, because I am doing something different. I'm doing something different. What else is new? I always got to make it hard. I could have, a lot of people are like, well, I don't really understand why she's partnered with that product line. I don't really understand. Like, I don't really get it. I don't know. Because you need to be using clean products. I'm not doing this to just be like, oh, I'll just, do this. I'll just sell that. Everything I do has purpose. You cannot buy this crap and not pay a consequence. I'll tell you, we were out hiking this weekend. I told you we went around a lake. They are putting more poison in personal care products. And you know how I know? Because we don't use them. Like everything in our house, like the laundry detergent, everything is clean, right? And so when I get around people that use the perfumes and stuff, I can smell it 10 feet away. And it never used to be like that. If I go into a store, I'm on a trail in nature. And you know how I know people are coming? I can smell Tide. I can smell their laundry detergent. Now, phthalates are the thing that make the scent stick to the product. It's the chemistry they used to make the smell potent. They need phthalates to do that. And so what that tells me is that they are putting more of that in these products because I can smell you coming 10 feet away, sometimes even more. I can smell the perfume. So you may think, these things, go green or whatever. It's just like, crunchy tree hugger type stuff. No, it's imperative to your health. You are wearing your clothes all day long. That stuff is seeping into your skin to the point where this researcher, this doctor tells you you're being exposed to so many chemicals, and that is why breast cancer rates are rising. It's one of the reasons. I mean, it's not about, I don't want you to get paranoid. It's not about eliminating your toxic exposure, but for the love of God, switch the things that you don't, that are no big deal. Do you really care about your laundry detergent so much that you're willing to put your health at risk for it? Get yourself some essential oils. Put that into your soap, your clean soap, if you have to have fragrance. It is not worth it. It is not worth it. And my Lord, these things that you plug into your house and your whole house smells like a, candy store or whatever. Oh, if you get away from that stuff for a while, you get away from it where you're not smelling it and you're just, away from it from a while. When you come back to it, it'll be obvious to you how toxic it is. because it will create almost a overwhelming feeling in your body, like, oh, this is too much. The same thing happens when, we get off of sugar, we get off of fake food. The flavor of like a watermelon, gum or what have you. No, I was going to say Hubba Bubba. Watermelon Hubba Bubba, there's like potent flavor, right, of watermelon. But if you bite into a watermelon, it's not quite the same, is it? That's because the Hubba Bubba, or no offense to Hubba Bubba, but candies like that, okay, they are made in laboratories. And they are made to set off an explosion in your brain of dopamine. And oh my gosh, I love it. And it doesn't last, does it? I mean, when I was a kid, it sure did. The flavor didn't last, right? You'd spit it out, put another one in because you wanted that flavor explosion. It's not natural. And what you're doing is you're wiring your brain for this artificial flavor so that when you eat normal food, you're disappointed and you go back to this crazy food until you start feeling sick from the fake food and the body starts going, this doesn't taste so good anymore, but what else am I going to eat? Or this is what I've always eaten. You've got food stories in your mind that tells you, well, I eat popcorn when I go to the movie theater. And if I can't have popcorn, then I feel deprived. And so I got to have a Coke when I have popcorn. This is what I call food stories. These stories that you tell yourself that you have to have this or that, or this is what you do to celebrate a birthday. Oh, you kill yourself to celebrate your birthday? Yay, another year of life. Let's have a giant, dye-soaked, sugar-soaked, inflammatory cake. That's your celebration of life? Like, really, think about this stuff. You can make a healthy cake. Certainly make a way healthier cake than you can buy. That's for darn sure, because you can control the ingredients and whatnot. I'm not saying don't ever celebrate. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying, like, make it worth it. Make quality great again. Make quality great again. Quantity has become the thing in America. How much can I get? Well, who cares how much you have if it's all crap? You can have 1 million, pairs of shoes, but if they're all crap and falling apart and hurt your legs and they don't, they leak and all that, who cares? Who cares? In the snow, you'd give anything to have a great pair of boots that keep your feet warm and dry. It's not about quantity. It should be about quality. And there's a very easy thing you can do. Get the poison out of your life. Perfume has over 300 chemicals in it. Cologne, perfume, that stuff you spray on. Not only do you put it on your skin where it absorbs, but you also breathe it in through your lungs. And it's toxic. You can still smell good. Like they said, get yourself some essential oils. But that's why I'm so, people, like I said before, it's like, well, why? I don't really understand that. Like, why is she partnered with this product line? Why is she doing that? It's like, well, I can't develop my own product line. Like, I don't know who you think I am. I don't have millions of viewers, I have a few viewers, and I'm very passionate about changing the medical model. And this is my way to do it, is to partner with a product line that's already established, that's been around since 1956, that is dedicated to cleanliness and non-toxic. If you haven't detoxified your household, do it today. You can do it with Naturally Inspired. Go to naturallyinspiredstore.com. Check us out. We'll be right back, everybody, in 1 minute.
Did you know 80% of beef consumed in the U.S. comes from 4 major corporations, much of it being imported or processed with additives? Want real beef from a real farm? Pumpkin Creek Ranch does things the right way. Local, grass-fed, dry-aged beef with no additives, no shortcuts, just honest quality.
Pumpkin Creek Ranch beef is the real deal. I love knowing exactly where my meat comes from. No additives, no nonsense, just honest quality beef.
Best beef I've ever had. You can taste the difference. Rich, tender, and packed with real flavor. Plus, supporting a local ranch makes it even better.
From pasture to plate, they raise their cattle with care, so you can get rich, natural flavor that only real ranching can provide. Stock your freezer with premium beef you can trust. Visit pumpkincreekranchco.com or call 970-658-0176.
I know. I hate it when people complain about their social media accounts. I really do. It's like, stop whining. I get it. But I'm going to ask you if you do me a favor. I'm trying to get back on Instagram. So if you would follow me on Instagram, it's Tammy Cuthbert Garcia, I believe. Is that right? I don't even know. Oh my gosh. Let me have a look here. Let me have a look. It is Tammy Cuthbert Garcia. Yes, of course it is. I knew that. It's Tammy Cuthbert Garcia on Instagram. If you would follow me on there, I'm going to try to be a good girl on there, but they're always kicking me off. Pausing my posts or whatever. So I got a little annoyed and I wasn't posting on there for a while, but I promise I'm going to start posting now. Just giving little tips and stuff like that on there. So follow me if you would. Help us grow this message. Again, the main mission is to, connect people to real solutions for health and to change the medical model. Because too many people are suffering unnecessarily. They just don't know. They just don't know what they need to do to curate health. And so that is the message and has always been the message of Naturally Inspired. So if you support that message, give me a follow on Instagram. You don't got to do anything. Just hit the follow button. That helps me and helps our message. So go to Tammy Cuthbert Garcia on Instagram today. Give us a follow, share it with a friend, comment, like one of my posts, it's all free to do that. And it helps get the word out. Cause like I said, too many people are suffering and it's unnecessary. This medical model is very predatory. It's very upsetting. If you listen to the show and have listened to the show for a while, you know how upset I get about it. It's very disturbing. Here's another one. Incoming campaign, everybody. I feel like I should have a trumpet. Here's an incoming campaign. A little, what do they call it? A tagline? Is it a branding? What do you call this? I don't know. But it's called a pharmacy desert. Did you know? There are people, everybody, living a half a mile away from a pharmacy? Can you imagine? We should be outraged. People living a half mile away from a pharmacy? What? This is an injustice. Well, somebody has pointed this out and is building a campaign around it. So yes, everybody, we have pharmacy deserts. So this is the new propaganda campaign incoming. Man, so strange. Check this out. Take a listen.
How far do you have to go to find a pharmacy? Nearly 200 pharmacies have closed in Massachusetts since 2019. I'm standing in front of one of them right now in the neighborhood of Boston, Dorchester. How is this possible in a state where the pharmaceutical industry is a major economic player? It's possible because these companies are in the business of making profits, not in the business of caring for people like you or me. It doesn't have to be this way. I believe healthcare is a human right, and I'm running for Senate on a socialist platform that explicitly states that we should turn the top 100 corporations, including CVS and Walgreens, into public property and use their resources to guarantee free and quality healthcare for all of us. If you're tired of healthcare being treated like a luxury in this country, get involved at tacheforma.com/volunteer.
I don't even know what to say, you guys. How come socialists and these leftists support corporations like my mind is bending here. Like it flipped, right? Like the progressives and the like leftists used to be like the hippies, peace, man, like all about hugging trees and granola and, you know, and it's like totally flipped. And now they want pills. They want pharma. They want it so bad that they want to let the government take it over and go into partnership with corporations, I don't even get it. I don't even get it. Give us our drugs. We need a pharmacy. You know what? Let's just build community projects and put the pharmacy on the bottom floor so we can just have an elevator that brings up all our pills so we can just walk around like zombies everywhere we go. You know, you got to be on the Adderall because you can't focus. You got the ADD. And then you got to be on the sleep meds because you can't sleep because you're taking the Adderall. And then you got to have the diabetes medication. And you got to, I mean, is there more pills, more pills, more pills? It's absolutely crazy. So strange, right? It's so strange. It's so bizarre. Like I said, I don't have words like, give us our drugs, give us our pills, give us big pharma. Mandate it into the society through government, regulate it. This goes back to what I was saying, you know, like business people get into politics because they need to, because we have so much dang regulation, red tape, fees, clerk fees. You know, at some point as a business owner, you got to get involved in the regulation or you're just not going to be able to make the billions you want to make. Precisely why artificial intelligence makers right now are pushing back, trying to make sure that AI doesn't get regulated right now, right? Because good Lord, if AI was to get regulated right now, well, then the race would slow. And that would mean the people who are at the head of the race, you know, they might not get what they do. They might not get total control over it. Just please. Just look at everything through the lens of business and it'll make so much more sense. Stop being, your clarity goes away when you think of like, oh, I love my country and you can love the people in your country and whatnot, but like you can't look at politicians through that lens. They're not getting into politics because they just want to do the right thing. There's like a couple people in that for that, you know, maybe like a couple. But like Nancy Pelosi didn't stay in politics because she just loved people so much, right? She's worth hundreds of millions and her stock picks are impeccable. You know, you got to get in the game in order to, you know, build the thing you want to build. And so, I don't know, that's how I look at it. So it's almost like, you know, these politicians and corporate gangsters are like, you know, hey, you like communism? Why don't we regulate the drugs right into the society? I mean, that way everybody gets, you know, equitable care. I mean, remember when the COVID vaccine was free? Was it free? Or was it your taxpayer dollars that were paying for that? You know, I mean, wouldn't it be great if you could just mandate your business into the marketplace? That's what Bill Gates has been doing. I mean, this started with Rockefeller medicine, actually. Started with the Rockefellers. Like, we will put all the homeopathy out of business, and we will do the Flexner report, where this becomes the standard, and this is the regulation. We determine the regulation. The business people that made the petrochemicals into pharmaceuticals, they made the regulation around allopathic medicine. It's a little off, right? It's kind of like the fox guarding the hen house, just maybe a little bit. So that's what you got to do. You got to look at everything through the lens of business. It'll make a whole lot more sense, right? Pharmacy desert. That's a good one. That's a good one. I mean, half a mile is too far. Half a mile is too far from your drugs. Let's just, I can't wait till they have a team of drones that will deliver your pills to zombify you by the press of a button. Because you know it's coming, right? You know it is coming. There's a study out on Alzheimer's. I've covered it several times, actually. I've covered it, and it's being covered again, I think, by the Midwestern doctor. It's talking about Alzheimer's. And we got a lot of problems in the Alzheimer's department because, you see, we had this fraudulent study done, I think it was 2014, maybe even further back. But we had a fraudulent study. I think it's further back than that. I'm trying to find my paperwork here. It was all of Alzheimer's research is based off of the concept that Alzheimer's comes from amyloid plaque. And it turns out that the study that determined that amyloid plaque theory was fraudulent. It wasn't actually true. And so now if you think about that, that became the gold standard of trying to fix Alzheimer's, right? Trying to understand Alzheimer's, solving the amyloid plaque issue. And it was all based on a lie. It was all based on a fraudulent study. And so we've lost a lot of years when it comes to understanding Alzheimer's. We've lost a lot of years. And the worst part about it is that, a lot of people are still in the science community, are still hanging on to the lie. And the reason why they're hanging on to the lie is because their studies get funded. Their studies get funded based on the lie, right? If they're going to continue on the research, then they're going to get funded for this amyloid plaque theory. The problem is what we truly understand is that it's more of a metabolic disease, and that some people have even coined it, and researchers, when I say some people, I'm talking about researchers who, have the chops to make this determination that it's more of a type 3 diabetes of the brain, meaning it's a metabolic issue. And that's why I boldly make the statement all the time that I think all dis-ease in the body is coming from metabolic dysfunction. It's coming from metabolic dysfunction. And how does the metabolism start, dysfunctioning? It comes from your food, people. It's what you put in your mouth every single day. When we come back, we're going to get to our health topic. I'm going to talk about hormone therapy because this is in the news. It's quite interesting. I think I have a unique take on this that you're going to want to hear. Stay tuned. We'll be right back.
Did you know that nearly 70% of Americans struggle with their health every single day? That's why we are reaching out to health professionals and to anyone who simply has a heart for helping people. Right now, there's an opportunity to make a real difference in people's lives while building a flexible income stream for yourself. Whether you're already working in health, wellness, or just passionate about seeing people thrive, we want to connect with you and introduce you to our system. Together, we can provide real solutions that empower people to take control of their health and create lasting impact. If you've been looking for a way to combine purpose with income, this is it. Visit simplehealthincome.com or text 720-764-7448. That's simplehealthincome.com or text 720-764-7448. We look forward to working with you.
What do we do in the naturally inspired community? All kinds of things. Who's in it? That's what I get a question sometimes. Who's in the community? Well, I'll tell you, people that are experiencing insulin resistance, blood sugar issues, people who have issues with energy, fatigue, digestion, gut health, sleep and stress balance, hormones and thyroid function, chronic pain, inflammation, heart health, circulation, immunity and recovery, brain health, mood, memory, people who just want better performance. And people who don't want to feel crazy. I think sometimes, when you understand what's going on in the world and everyone around you doesn't understand what's going on in the world, you need a touchstone. So we also have people that know a lot about health. They know what's going on. They know how to curate health in their body, but they love being a part of the naturally inspired community because it makes them feel not crazy. And that's where we are in the world. So, don't suffer in silence. Do something good for yourself and get into a community of support that's like-minded and achieve your optimum health along the way. Go to naturallyinspiredstore.com today, make a purchase, and you'll get a text from me. You'll get a lot of contact with me, actually, and it's truly me. It's not a bot. And then if you don't want to hear from me, then just stop. That's all you got to do. But rarely does anybody do that. So get into the community today at naturallyinspiredstore.com. All right. I want to talk about hormones. Okay. Big topic. I did have a clip, but I think it didn't come through. So we're just going to go to the top stories here. There's a lot of headlines, announcements on this topic of, should I do hormone replacement therapy? Should I do bioidentical hormones? It's a personal decision. I get this question a lot. It's a personal decision, but I do have some things to say about it. Okay. Why do people go on hormone replacement therapy? When I'm talking about women here today, and men are now doing it as well. But in the past, which is the clip I was going to share, and that was going to explain that in the past, hormone therapy for women was given a black box designation. A black box designation, if you haven't heard of it, this is a designation that gets put on a product, a drug, to indicate that, you should use it only short term and that it has the highest safety warning available to designate to it, meaning kind of dangerous, right? It's called a black box warning because it literally gets a black box put around it that says, use this short term. You should be monitored. This should kind of be used as last resort. And that was hormone therapy, hormone replacement therapy. Now, jump cut to today. And there's new research that says, no, this is actually a wonderful thing and that women should take advantage of this. And there's a lot of great things for it because women suffer from hot flashes. They suffer from night sweats, mood swings, sleep quality, dryness. They even lose like bone loss, and muscle. They lose muscle. They say that hormone replacement therapy can improve blood vessel elasticity. It raises good cholesterol. It supports brain and mood support. It can support collagen. Like they have all this list now of things that are like, hormone replacement therapy. It's great. It's good. It's wonderful. I'm going to tell you, I think any supplement, any prescription plan, this is just my personal opinion. I don't judge anybody for doing it. I'm just telling you how I think about it. Okay? What's my goal with this? What is your goal with this hormone replacement therapy? Because it's not about dependency, right? Are you going to replace these hormones forever? I guess is my question. Are you going to replace these hormones until you die? Because it's not supposed to be used like that. It's not supposed to be used for dependency. It's supposed to be used for transition. Okay. Here's the bigger question. Why are you getting hot flashes? Why do you have night sweats? Why do you have mood swings? Why have you lost your sleep quality? Why are you losing bone and muscle? Because there are other things you can do to improve those things that you can actually do forever if you start doing them now. So I guess what I'm saying is I just, never say never. And I understand that, quality of life is very important. But what doesn't make sense to me is is this going to be the societal norm now? Because we have the black box removal of this product that we transition from, perimenopause to menopause by using bioidentical or even hormone replacement therapy? Is this what we think we need? Because I think there's a lot of variables that we're not talking about. Like, why are you having trouble with these things? Insulin resistance. Okay, so the drop in estrogen contributes to insulin resistance. You do not process sugar the same way when you experience loss of estrogen. And so what are you going to do? Just artificially put estrogen in your body and keep eating sugar and carbohydrates? Because there are some major health side effects from consuming high amounts of carbohydrate. And you may think, well, who's to determine? Who's to determine what's a high level of carbohydrate? Well, listen, it's a signal from your body telling you too much carbohydrates. If you are putting weight on, if you are experiencing inflammation, if you are having signals come from your body, dumping hormones into it artificially, you're covering up the communication. I don't know about you, but I want to hear the communication coming from my body because then I know how to pivot. If I shut the communication up, I might miss something. And it may go unchecked. So it's just my personal choice, but I'm just explaining to you why I think this. Bone and muscle support, you got to be lifting weights. Perimenopause, menopause, you have got to get on the weights if you do not want to experience sarcopenia. It is the answer to so much. I cannot stress it enough. It is the answer to so much. Weightlifting actually improves blood vessel elasticity. So you can, these are the things that this drug, and it's a synthetic, it's a synthetic or a bioidentical, what it's promising you can do with your lifestyle. And maybe you won't cover up the communication coming from your body. There is no free lunch. There is no free lunch. So support your bones, support your muscle. Herbs are fantastic. Herbs like maca, rhodelia, ashwagandha. These are wonderful herbs, right? That are adaptogenic, that work with your body. They don't just cover things up, right? So weightlifting improves your blood vessel elasticity. Brain and mood support, also weightlifting improves that. And also when you get rid of insulin resistance, you don't experience brain fog. You don't experience the brain fog. You don't have the dips in hormones as much with you don't get the mood swings. Supplementing with collagen. Supplementing with collagen can improve your skin, your hair, the quality of your skin. I don't know. Again, I'm not saying don't do it. I'm saying, what's the goal? Because it's going to be hard to come off of hormone replacement therapy if it's like kind of kicking the can down the road. You know what I mean? And I think it'd be harder to deal with some of this stuff the older you get than just dealing with it when your biology chooses to deal with it. Now, don't get me wrong, getting your hormones back in balance when you've coming off of a high carbohydrate diet, which was pushed all over you in diet culture, right? With diet culture through the 80s and 90s, late 70s, 80s and 90s, high carbohydrate rice cake, have some rice cake, some pop chips, some slim fast, some, low fat, all that stuff. That whole diet culture thing was pushed upon you, made you eat high levels of carbohydrate and sugar because you were told that, protein and fat, healthy fat, was making you fat. And that was a lie. That was a lie. So you weren't put in the right circumstances, and it's not easy to dial it in. But let me tell you, I think it's easier now in your 50s to deal with it now than it would be later, right? Because again, what's the goal? Are you going to stay on hormone replacement therapy forever? I don't know. Like, I just, again, you're covering it up, right? I know women who decided to go, that were perimenopausal, they were skipping periods, their body was winding down, in terms of getting their period and whatnot. And then they go on hormone replacement, their period's back. Everything's like, well, like, how long are you going to do that for? You're going to have to, face the piper at some point, right? So like, why not dial it in now? Do the work now. High protein diet, high fat diet, work with your ghrelin and leptin hormones, work with managing insulin resistance, build those muscles, use some herbs if you have to, like support the body through its natural process. And there'll be other biohackers out there that take the biohacking approach where, biological and peptides and all that stuff. And, perhaps there's a role for it. But in my theory, less is more. Less is more, especially if you haven't dialed in your diet yet. If you haven't truly dialed in your grams of protein, your healthy fat, your hydration, your workout routine, then, you're leaving a lot on the table. And in my experience, there's just always consequences to quick fixes. So consider that before you make your choice. Again, freedom of choice. I'm all about your freedom. You do what you want to do. That's just my take on it. Thanks so much for joining me today. This has been Naturally Inspired Radio. I'm Tammy Cuthbert Garcia. See you tomorrow.
Are you ready to stay informed and inspired 24/7? Tune in to Naturally Inspired Radio anytime, anywhere. Visit naturallyinspiredradio.com, or for the best mobile experience, download the Simple Radio app. Search for Naturally Inspired Radio. Save it to your favorites and click on the graphic to listen instantly. Catch live broadcasts, revisit past shows, dive into long-form podcast conversations, and discover rare, censored presentations by leading health experts. Plus, Explore documentaries uncovering the hidden truths of occult and esoteric history. Stay connected, stay inspired. Naturally Inspired Radio is always at your fingertips. Tune in now. For health questions or comments, text Tammy directly at 720-303-8868. NaturallyInspiredRadio.com.